Simon Hypixel, the former CEO of Hytale, is back talking about his plans for the launch of Hytale if he's able to acquire it, as well as talking a bit more about the process of what it'll take for Riot to be able to give him the IP. I put out this image talking about how we just want the game to launch. We don't need a perfect version of Hytale, and Simon replied to it on Twitter saying, yep, it's not going to be perfect or what Hytale is supposed to be day one, and that's okay. The cancellation might be a blessing in disguise to reset expectations and break the curse of perfectionism, if we can get the IP, of course. FYI, a lot of content would be cut early on just to be able to release in some sort of alpha/in-dev version and get funding that way to complete the vision. I don't know what the state of the game is right now, but one thing for sure is we could release it with just the creative mode to begin with. Get the community involved ASAP in shared/open source while we finish the work on adventure, minigames, etc. This is a long-term project, would be taken care of for many years. Reality is, the early days of Minecraft didn't have much and it ended up okay. For our Minecraft server, we've been developing non-stop for 12 years, never stopped, and continue to go hard with a team of over 90 people and 40 million ESC users, more than 50% of Minecraft Java's entire player base. He elaborates by saying, spend few months evaluating the project, pure engineering work, nothing new would be added during that time. Clean up and make sure things work properly and understand the state of each features. Potentially fix some critical features in the process to achieve a basic game loop. After evaluation, we would write up a roadmap, share with the public, then start hiring artists, engineers to execute the roadmap, the just launch roadmap. Would the game loop be fun? Probably not the best, but does not matter for this phase. Just need to get it out, then make it super fun over time. The beauty of block games like this is that they don't really rely entirely on the survival/adventure features to be fun. You can just build/gather with your friends and have fun as is, at least initially. Add creative mode as well and it would instantly satisfy the needs of many. I'm super curious what your guys' thoughts are on this, because this is saying exactly what we've wanted, and I don't think anyone's going to complain if the game is going to come out with a slightly broken and a little less content than we expected from, say, the trailer. Someone asks, in regards to things that were changed after you left or expanded upon in 2020 to like 2023, gameplay wise, not directly engine related, would you be open to keeping them if they're good, or are you trying to stick completely to the 2018 vision? Because the engine rewrite had the engine team obviously working on a new engine, but there was an entire creative department, concept artists, modelers still needing to do work, and so they kept on refining that creative version of the game, which is why we got the Quebec rework or the Scarrick rework, for example. We even got things like vaulting and butt sliding that they mentioned in blog posts. And Simon says, yes, everything good would stay in. The new combat looks amazing, for example, much better than my days by miles. When I say legacy engine, it's actually probably been updated until probably 2023 plus, and all of the assets made until 2025 until cancellation are probably still working on the legacy engine. I don't know for sure, but it would make sense. And this is backed up by the fact that when we saw the new engine, not everything was there. They showed us a very bare bones version of that. So everything that they had been working up to was in that older engine. That older engine that we will receive if Simon's able to buy back the game. The new engine would probably need to be put in a vault for now, maybe revisited later on for cross-platform, but I doubt so. I've not seen anything at all since 2019 other than blog posts and maybe one PowerPoint that was shared with me 2 years ago with their roadmap. So that new engine, the thing that they've been working on for 4 years almost, is probably going to be vaulted and maybe never to be seen again. And it makes sense. If you have the version of the game and you're already pushing it out and then refining that, it's not going to be the smartest idea to work on that. Maybe 4 or 5 years down the line, when we have a solid foundation for Hytale, when the core gameplay elements are in, when there's lore, there's fun mini games, then you can worry about maybe bringing back this new engine and working it into making a cross-platform game again. But as of right now, it's going to be a PC launch only. Then there was a question about, would you do an AMA on the Hytale info Reddit? Probably got a ton of questions, and he says, if I get the IP, 100% yes. I would like to do some kind of blog post on Reddit so people can ask us questions and give feedback on our initial plan of attack. I would like to make sure everyone understands the new direction and are okay with it, lower their expectations that what we want to release isn't finished. And then for me, it's useful because I wouldn't need to repeat myself 100 times a day, as people would be able to share the plan themselves as they would have been a part of it. He's once again going back to that open communication. He's talking on Twitter every day. I wanted to make this video video in the morning and then Twitter was down, and luckily for me I didn't record because there's going to be another statement, a large statement coming up in this video that already tells us so much more information than we would have hours before. This is a live ongoing thing, and if you want to make sure you stay up to date, definitely subscribe to the channel and join the Discord link in the description. We have a special channel for specifically Simon's tweets that get posted the second he tweets. Moving on to more tweets, I was talking about some of the old team that needs to get brought back. For example, Budacat, the community manager. He was with the game day one and was one of the most valuable assets in a lot of the community's opinion, and Simon says, my door will always be open for current and former team as soon as the evaluation of the project would be done. I don't want to make promises nor reach out to anyone right now because I don't have any idea of where the game is at or if I can even get the IP. Budacat was a pleasure to work with back in my days, love him. And this is a question that a lot of you might have been wondering, have you started the communication process yet? Has he reached out to Riot, done emails, even flown his PJ down to Riot headquarters himself, where I clarified they're on summer break right now. They did a blog post or a little article saying, yeah, we are off for the week of 4th of July, so Simon can't even talk to them if he wanted to. And he just confirmed, yeah, that's the reason why communication hasn't started. Then there was some kickback because obviously he was the one that initially sold the game to Riot, and Riot ended up pushing the game down with a newer management. And he said, you're this hopeful, but you sold the studio to line your pockets. What a joke. Where he clarifies, my pockets would have been emptied by the new direction. I did not feel comfortable with that. I also did not fit with the new direction and was offered an exit package. I like to work in smaller teams with less cooks in the kitchen. I suggest you look at their public finances. I would not have been able to afford that level of spending. Exit gave me money that now has the potential to buy back the IP and finish the game. I don't need to do this. I could just stay retired, you know, but I want to finish it. I try because it sounds challenging and fun. Whatever happens, happens. I thrive on chaos, brother. This is also backed up by the fact that he said he was given a larger payout to go to a different company instead of Riot Games. He chose Riot Games because he thought this would be the best direction of the game, not because that would fill his pockets the most. We also saw in Riot Games finance sheets, as of 2023, they already spent $75 million on the project, which have probably gone into the hundreds of millions by the time of the cancellation. There's a reminder that needs to be said. This game is going to drop in a broken state, but Minecraft launched in the roughest state imaginable. Pre-alpha posted to a forum with barely any features, yet it became the best-selling game ever. Let Hytale do the same. Release it raw, let time and the community shape it like we do with Java Minecraft. I bet Hypixel Simon would agree. And he just says yeah, which I followed up with this absolutely badass image, which I think describes his absolute moment right now. If he does this, he really is finding the One Piece. This is the tweet that I mentioned was posted not even hours ago of me recording the video. Initially, he posted no risk, no story, which is the motto that he's going for right now. No risk, no story, or no risk, no Hytale. He needs to take this risk, and it is a risky one because we don't know if this will ever pan out. And once more, there was criticism. Someone said, as far as I would love Hytale to be brought to life, I feel like all the tweeting is going against the don't overhype it too much and keep the expectations low. Is there any way you're actually getting the IP? I don't want to seem rude or anything. It's just that there's kind of a shitload of YouTubers, I think he's talking about me right now, making videos about your every tweet. So if nothing happens in the end, it's just going to be an even bigger letdown. And I try to re-emphasize right now that this is still a long shot. There is no guarantee that Hytale is coming back. He's going to try his best, but in the end, the game is canceled and he's trying to buy back a dead IP from a AAA publisher. There's no guarantee. He replies, what do you want from me though? Should I go silent, as if the past few years of silence worked out well for Hytale? I need to communicate at least a little bit to see if this is worth fighting for. If the community would have been completely upset to what I've been saying, I would have just not taken a shot at it. Everyone is asking questions, and I'm giving answers. I understand your concerns, but I'm replying to people, not making big front page posts. I'm not promoting any campaign to add pressure. YouTubers are having fun with it, and it's fine. It's a great ongoing story. I'm not their dad. They can do whatever they want. I explained the low chances many times already, but it's the only chance of getting something to happen. Game is 100% dead otherwise. Their team is already laid off and moving on. No one would buy a dying IP with no team. The longer this takes, the longer the value of the IP goes. Whatever the price I would end up paying, no one else would pay that much. It makes no business sense. Legacy Engine makes no sense for any other business other than us because of its current PC-only limitations. Everyone wants cross-platform these days at all costs. I'm not applying any extra pressure or expectations by replying, just discussing with the community to see if they agree and if I 100% want to get into this mess. Reality is I don't need this to make my life any better or make any more money. All my businesses are running profits and I would have a great amount of free time. I have beat the game of life already, which, whoa, hold on, chills warning. Why would I complicate my current happiness? If this fails, I have nothing to promote. I will go back to my own things and be content for life. This is not an opportunity for me. This is a way of giving back what I was given years ago. And I believe in Hytale, and I think it's the only chance for players to see it. It would come with sacrifices on my end that will potentially make my life shitty for a long while. Part of me wants Riot to say no, not gonna lie. I think he's the only one that wants Riot to say no. A lot of the former devs and the entire community is really rooting for him and Riot to come to an agreement and make this game a reality again. This post also has some implications that no one would pay the price that he's willing to pay for a dead IP. And the initial number he gave is 25 million. Whether or not he's actually looking to give 25 million or has other investors to give a little bit more, maybe it's not actually as expensive as the entire costs that Riot Games put down. He definitely does not have $100 million lying around. That would need external costs. But he also said in his initial post, he's not looking for extra investors or he's not looking for crowdsourcing. So maybe the dead IP really isn't worth even 25 million. It's worth way less than that, and he's willing to pay for that amount just to make sure that the game is in his hands and will be able to launch again. A reply to one of the earlier posts said, for modders like me, having a good non-sandbox experience is essential to keep friends and players hooked. I hope that when single player releases, it will be the complete experience to pull everyone back in. Creator tools can suffer, but that player experience needs to be great. And he said, yeah, that's the main thing that many game platforms don't understand. I'm fully aware that it's critical to have a great non-sandbox experience, and this is why Hytale feels heavy fantasy with quests and such, and a ton of ways to expand the game. Also, minigames is where we have 12 plus years of experience, which is a reference to the Hypixel server, which is the GOAT of Minecraft minigames. Now, this is something that I was kind of confused on because in 2024 November, I posted, okay, can we finally agree that this is the best Hytale clip the Hypixel team has ever given us, which is the combat showcase with AI, where one of them is a player and the other one is an AI, and you kind of had to figure out which one was the AI, where Simon randomly replied, this system probably needed to be rewritten again for the new engine lol. Such a great clip, which is in reference to the fact that this clip was part of the legacy engine. But I'm just wondering, Simon, how did you find this tweet? This was over half a year ago now. Are you looking through my old tweets or did you just find this on your timeline? Because I don't know if I should be scared whether or not he's been stalking me online, whether or not that's the case or he just found it by typing in Hytale into the search bar, I don't know. But it is really funny seeing him reply to such an old tweet and mentioning that the combat is amazing, which I think we all agree on. A lot of people say that the combat is their favorite part of Hytale. I'm gonna end this video not on a Simon tweet, but on an Oscar Garvin tweet, who is the composer for the entire Hytale soundtrack, where he clarified, I wrote so many tracks. I had fully scored zone 1 through 4, including special biomes like underground jungles. It was between 100 to 150 tracks for Legacy alone, over 8 hours of music. I wrote a track a week back in 2016 to 2017. I had recently begun rewriting almost the entire OST to match the new direction, but only just managed to write Zone 1 day and night, which was 15 songs, around 1 hour for the first pass. More needed to be added later. I also did an OST for the capital, our social hub city, that had 20 songs or 50 minutes that was to be used, although I wrote 50 during the exploration stage, more than 10 hours of music over the years. I wish I could share it all, but I don't think there's a realistic chance of that ever happening. I don't technically own it. Big sad. The upside to this is the whole tragedy is I've acquired a ton of skills and leveled up during my time at Hypixel, so I will for sure be putting that to good use. Hopefully I can share much more music for you now on. I have a channel where I write music for D&D, which you can enjoy in the meantime, and I'll put that link in the description. Having that much music locked up and never to be found again is truly devastating, and even if Hytale does not get bought back and Simon's not able to get the IP, one Simon can only hope that if anything in the deal happens, we can at least get the music to listen to while we study or maybe cry ourselves to sleep after the fact that Hytale is not coming out. But we're pretty optimistic with Simon tweeting so much, and it looks like he's going to continue tweeting and answering questions on Twitter. So once more, if you want to stay up to date with everything that he posts, make sure you subscribe to the channel and join the Discord, where we have the special Simon Says channel tracking everything that he wants to say. I'll see you guys in the next video.